Atomic Habits has sold over 1 million copies worldwide. It's an international bestseller and is back as #1 on the Amazon charts this week, or at least when I wrote the script to this. Now, I read this book back in January, but it's been stuck on my bookshelf for over a year. I wanted to read through it, but until I had my goals in place, I just didn't make the time. It's probably why the book was #1 at the time of writing my script. It was in the new year, the whole new year, new me thing, trying to get back on it. But the book's great. It basically teaches you how to form good habits. And it also has some pointers for breaking bad habits too. It focuses on the minor, the atomic level, the little tiny changes that you can make on a daily basis that compound over time. And James Clear, the author, says that's the way to make success. And I've mentioned it on here before a few times. As Joe Rogan says, it's like building a mountain of layers of paint. Slowly but certain, you build up those layers, build up the reps, and confidence, routine, everything changes. It's that 1% improvement every day that can lead to the 37x improvement over the whole year. It's the trust that you slowly build in yourself, raising that bar little by little every time, stretching yourself just so you can achieve it, and then pushing that boundary. You look back and you see just how far you've come. Now, the focus of this book isn't goals. It focuses on the systems that we put in place every day, and this is what makes the difference in the long term. As Chris Williamson has said, when motivation fails, you don't rise to your goals, you fall to the level of your systems.
As soon as he said, you do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems, I think people stopped thinking about goals. And he made a really great argument, which was everybody at the start line of the 100-meter race has the same goal. It's to win. So it's not the person who has the best goals, it's the person who has the best systems and preparation.
Winners and losers have the same goals, and achieving goals is only a momentary change. And this book talks you through how you can change those goals into habits. And in this video, we're going to focus on that exact thing, turning some goals into some habits. I set a few goals for 2024. We're going to go through a few of them today and applying the learnings from this book, turning those goals into a habit. If you haven't read the book, read the book, links down below. So the first thing you need to do is identify your goals and ensure that goal is specific and measurable. As I said, we're focusing on a couple for today's video. The ones that I've picked out is the running of the marathon and increasing my flexibility. Now, obviously both of those goals are not very specific or measurable. So first step is making them so. So my marathon goal is to run the Manchester Marathon April with a time of sub 3 hours 45. And for flexibility, more specifically, it's being able to touch my toes or grab my toes when bending over. So we've identified the goal. Now we've got to break it into a habit. So what is the daily action that you can do on a day-to-day basis to work towards that goal? So for me, the habits I need are running consistently and stretching consistently. If I can build up a habit of doing these things continuously, consistently, I should be able to reach the goals. So in the book, they have 4 key rules that you can apply to turn things into a habit. They are: make it obvious, make it attractive, make it easy, and make it satisfying. And all of those are broken down a little bit further. So the first thing, make it obvious. And the first subsection of this is about tracking your current habits. Now, I use Strava and a calendar. This is my best way to do this tracking business. Strava's fantastic. It really shows you over time what your output is, right? If you do a run, you post it on there and it shows out over time how you've been doing. So that is a really good way of being able to see where you're at currently. Secondly, the calendar. I like to utilize the calendar to track what I'm doing with my goals. If I've set like a highlight on a certain day when I've done a certain thing, on my calendar I use yellow to track my flexibility. So you can quite quickly see where my habits are. Am I stretching on a daily basis? Am I taking lots of time off? The second thing around making it obvious is implementing intentions. So this is sort of saying, I will do this at this time and this location. And this way you're sort of telling yourself, I'm going to do it then, I'm going to do it there. So for the marathon training, just by following the plan, that sort of gave me that intention, right? So that told me it's Thursday, I've got to run for 6 miles because that's what my plan's telling me. For the stretching side of things, I found that the best thing for me was doing that first thing in the morning as soon as I've showered. So I will stretch in the morning, in my bedroom, after I've had a shower. The third thing is habit stacking. So it's like, can you put a couple habits together so that they like link together and build upon each other? Now the running and the flexibility sort of come hand in hand here. So what I've tried to do is when doing my running training is integrate some stretching before and afterwards. Stretch, run, stretch. And then the last thing about making it obvious is designing your environment. What can you do? What can you leave around the house to sort of prime you to remind you to do your habit? So for running, I can leave my running shoes just like by the front door, quite obviously so. For the stretching, I have my yoga mat laid out by the side of my bed. It's abundantly clear that the yoga mat's out, so that reminds me on a daily basis, get your stretches in. So the second rule is around making it attractive. And the first thing within this is called temptation bundling. And that's doing something you want to do with something you need to do. And so for me, during the marathon training, I needed to do the run. I didn't really want to do the run, but the run would be a lot more entertaining, listening to music, listening to a podcast, if I was smoking a joint beforehand. So bundle that together, finish work, smoke a joint, go for a run. The second thing is joining a culture where this behavior is favorable. And again, for the running, Strava is amazing for this because you follow sort of similar like-minded people. You've seen other people doing a run. If you haven't ran for a couple of days, someone else has posted a run, you're like, I need to get out there. I need to do some work. Other thing is like just your social media, which you can tailor in a way to be able to push you in certain ways. I have lots of videos of people doing weird stretches to work on different injuries. My algorithm's pretty fucked, but it's useful because it reminds me and motivates me that I need to do some stretching. The next rule is making it easy. First thing is about reducing friction. So reducing the steps it takes for you to do the habit. So for running and the marathon training, it was just about getting out the door. The hardest thing is the getting ready. The longer you take to get ready, the more you hear the rain outside. You can see it's cold, you feel cold. You don't want to go outside, you don't want to get it done. But as soon as you're outside, you're fine. You're on the way and doing it. So for that one, making it easy, reducing the friction, was trying to get ready and out as quick as possible. From a stretching side of things, you can have those stretches in anywhere. I've been queuing for the cinema and whacked out a few hamstring stretches. Been waiting for a train and just popping out a little calf stretch here or there. Make it easy, do it where you can, reduce that friction. The second thing is priming the environment. And this is similar to the cues thing from earlier. So I'll leave my trainers downstairs again, so it's ready to go for me. My stretching equipment's already out, laying by the bed. I literally just need to do it. It's there, it's all set up, it's just on me to start. And then the last one here is around the 2-minute rule. So it's how can you downscale your task or goal or habit so that it can be done in just 2 minutes. Now, marathon training can't really be done in under 2 minutes. Sadly, I've thought about ways we can try and implement this, but it ain't gonna work. But for the stretching, what I found that could sort of relate here is just like pressing play on the video. So I'll have a couple stretching videos that'll talk me through the different stretches that I need to do, and I'll try and press play within that 2 minutes after I've got out the shower and I've dried. And as soon as I press play and that guy's voice is speaking, talking me through getting in the positions, I'm off, I've got to do it. He's off, I better hurry up. Also, you've got about automating habits. Again, with the marathon, can't really automate a lot of that training. But with the stretching, I signed up to a plan. This is where I got those videos from. It cost me money. So one, I'm more likely to do it because I paid for it, so I have to do it. And then two, it's stretching in such a way that I press play, the guy is then talking me through what I need to do. It's already happening. I've just got to follow along. It takes 20 minutes. The last rule is make it satisfying. The first one here is about rewarding yourself, reinforcing it. So having a reward when you complete the habit. So for me, as I say, I stretch first thing in the morning after I've had that shower. Now, I am not a morning person and I'm not a great person without coffee. Don't speak to me without a coffee. Don't come at me with your problems if I haven't had a coffee. So I really like a coffee in the morning. So my reward for completing my stretches, I get to go and have my coffee. Another thing here is tracking habits so that you can see the streak. And this is really good because it helps you not break the chain, right? So as I say, on my calendar, I'll color code and track when I've been doing my marathon training, my stretching, and some of my other goals as well. And you can quite quickly see on days that you've been slipping. Tracking things is so key. If you're not tracking things, things are gonna fall by the wayside. And the last thing is never miss a day twice. Get back on track immediately. Everybody needs a day off. We've all got to have a day off, that's fine. Have a day off. Life cuts in the way, life happens. You can't always train when you need to train because life, but don't let that happen twice in a row. Get back on it as soon as. You've taken a rest day, you're hungover, it happens. But that Monday comes around, you're going to the gym, you're putting that work and you're getting out to run, because as soon as 2 or 3 days go by, that 4th day coming back is so difficult. It's so much easier to retain momentum when you don't lose it. You got a ball spinning, and then if it slows down, I know that's a bad metaphor, but rowing machine. You're using the rowing machine, you're rowing, you stop completely for a bit and it all stops. And then try rowing again, it's harder to start back up. Whereas if you row, take a second, row again, it's easier. That's the metaphor I'm going with. Anyway, don't take 2 days off in a row. Keep everything tracked, and if you miss a day, get back on it. So that's it. That's the whole book summarized in a short period of time. Now, I may be missing some very key areas there. However, those were the key takeaways that I took and things that I've been implementing in my day-to-day to turn my goals into habit. Again, when motivation fails, you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems, your habit. So set the goals, have a goal, have a target to aim for, but make sure you set up the systems in place so that you don't fail. Make it obvious, make it attractive, make it easy, and make it satisfying. And thanks for watching. God, 2 bits of recording in one day. This guy's mad. This guy's mental.